want to change, so it's better to make it change.
You talked earlier about the need to make changes that are sustainable.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you also talked about 2 to 5 year time periods. People seem to be a little frustrated, however.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be patient enough to have sustainable changes. Are they patient enough to wait that long?
Well, of course, when you plant a tree, fruit tree, you cannot expect that the fruit tree is going to give mangoes next week, of course. This is a way to start something with immediate results. I'm talking about long-term results, but some of the results will be immediate. Mm-hmm. Immediate is that it will be proved, like it happened before, but in a smaller scale, that things must be done in a different way. And remember, you conduct the orchestra. The orchestra is the same, but your conductor make it sound different. But the conductor is now a different conductor, and the orchestra will sound different. It's being the same orchestra. The question is that you must learn from your mistakes, and the question is not about doing something that like it used to be with a lot of publicity and then it fades after, short after. I said no air. But now it's different. I mean, and I give you the example of the buses. Let's go before, to the time before this. People need the buses. We must take the buses out to show them that the buses are there. It's curious that people were seeing the buses, people were commenting about the dramatic transformation in transportation in the city, and nothing was said, any word on TV, any word in the media. So you don't need to have that kind of overwhelming publicity about the benefits you're going to have. What you want is the real benefit. So the benefits were there, and nobody was talking about that. And now, for example, it's the same with the farmers and the land and nobody talked. There was not talk about the miracle or the changes in the agriculture. Just Raul made a mention last July about selling the milk in the small localities, producing and selling the milk in the locality. But today, 8 months after, he said, we have been saving a lot of money because we don't need to import 6,000 tons of powder milk. We're saving a lot of fuel. People feel better. And there's no word, there's no coverage. Just make it happen. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the very important differences. Things are happening, and if you try to follow the rhythm of the transformation, reading the media, will not find what are you looking for.
Let me ask you one final question.
Okay.
We do a lot of work with U.S. policymakers. What's your message to them one day after there's been a change in leadership here?
Well, the question is that isolation generates prejudices and false paradigms. If we are neighbors and we put a wall between you and me, we just presume what's going on the other side. We just imagine. We hear something and we think that is this or that, and this is what is going on between Cuba and the United States. There, we must turn down that wall because we're neighbors. We are natural neighbors. We can have a beneficial relationship. And some of the arguments used to keep the wall between Cuba and the United States are really false. And it takes only 1 minute to deflate that balloon, because some of the arguments are just arguments coming from the hardliners in Miami, and they don't make sense for Washington, and then they make sense for Havana. So the question is, turn down the wall and ignore Miami. I mean, ignore those guys in Miami, not ignore Miami. There's a lot of people Cubans in Miami who are willing to, for sure, that would like to see a better relation a normal relation between Cuba and the United States, to live there because they don't want to live here, but to live there and to take a benefit of the American system and to have access to their country and to have access to their family without being disturbed by absurd measures like you cannot see, I tell you who can you see and when. That's the point. So it's detrimental for the United States, it's detrimental for Cuba. Nobody's winning. This is a nobody's winning action, you know. Nobody's winning here. So that is the message I always send. Come, be informed, look by yourself, ask what you want to ask here. Don't use middlemen. Come here and have a better, and more accurate and more objective opinion about Cuba and Cuban province. Come and talk to the governmental officials. Come and talk to the people on the streets. Come and talk and learn about the history of Cuba and what do we think about you and what do we feel about you. Many Americans are surprised that there are no hard feelings against them, and they say, how? Because there's a difference between policy and people. And so they feel so good because they come and they don't find a place in which the American embassy, you know, is always people are throwing stones or destroying. That never happens in Cuba. So people are more educated and people learn how to put apart political issues and personal issues. So I have met people from the right, from the right, from the left. Some people really conservative. Some very liberal. But we are human, and we can talk. We're civilized people. We can show each other how civilized we are, and we can learn from our values. We would like to show you our values, our history, our culture, and the same. To receive your culture and your values the same, and to make of that something beneficial for both. That's it.